Hi, I'm Eddie Burke. I've been the bartender at the Hollywood Improv for 40 years, and this is my podcast, Eddie's Bar at the Improv. All right, guys, welcome to Eddie's Bar at the Improv. I want to thank my 2 or 3 listeners for listening and maybe watching, and also Mike Corano and Lindsay Rose for their help. And today I have a very special guest that...
Why are you looking down at your notes?
I know who I am. I know, but I have to read all these things. This is unreal. I don't even think you did all this stuff, but listen to this.
Well, you got to say my name. You didn't even
I was going to get to it.
Oh, okay.
What is Adam?
All right.
Adam Devine,
okay,
ladies
Eddie.
and gentlemen. Okay. It's Adam Devine is the guest today, and he's a talented actor, comedian, and now singer from
now singer
those movies, and he co-created Workaholics,
the
Comedy Central show that ran from 2011 to 2017. How's that?
That's right. We
Pretty
did
good.
seven seasons in 6 years.
Yep.
Woo!
You guys were kicking ass.
Yeah.
And then now
we're dead in the water.
No, are you still?
Now I'm here on your podcast. It's looking up.
Shit happens. It's Adam Devine's house party still going?
No, we did 3 seasons of that, and then I asked Comedy Central if we could do the 4th season in Australia, and they were like, "Get the fuck out of here!" No, you're done.
No, it's either. Where'd you do it? New Orleans?
I did season 1 in Los Angeles, season 2 in New Orleans, and the 3rd in Hawaii.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I can't understand why they didn't want to go to Australia. It's,
it seemed all the executives loved it. I think it was just costing them too much money for what they were getting out of the show.
Out of the show?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this is only...
Let's do some setup here, Eddie. We're already going down the career list. We got to do some setup as to why I'm here.
Why are you here?
You asked me, man.
Adam has been a good friend of mine ever since he worked here in 2004. 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked here in 2004 answering phones, and I know
till almost 2007.
That
it was
long?
It was like 2.5 years.
It seemed like it was like 8 years. I mean, it's just the way you worked and all.
Yeah, I worked super
and you
hard.
never listened to me. Now I'm going to let the people judge. Adam used to answer the phone, and I tried my hardest to get him to answer the phone this way. Hollywood Improv, Devine on the line. Is that not great? I mean, and he just fought. He would not do it. He just refused to do it. Maybe you could tell them.
Hey, Eddie, times they are a-changing, okay? We don't need fun catchphrases now. This isn't stand-up comedy
This was back then, Adam.
in the 60s when you started.
Oh, wow.
In the biz.
The 60s in the biz? Was there a biz back then?
I don't know.
Let's see, in the 60s. It was like
that was just a cheap shot on your age. I'm sorry.
Listen, as soon as you figure it out, let me know what it is, because I'm trying to work on that. You and I also, and a couple of the servers at the time, all had little weight issues.
Yeah, I
back
still,
then, and you still do. Don't you?
Eddie. Eddie's always called me fat. Every time I come in here, it's either like I am in good shape, and he's like, "What'd you do?" Or because I like
up and down,
inflate, yeah. And it's either like, "Oh, you're doing great," or like, "Oh no, we got to get you back on our diet."
Oh yeah,
we did when we worked here, or when I worked here. Me and Eddie and a few of the servers were like, we got to lose some weight. Whoever loses the most weight in a month, we all put in like $50, and I think we got up to like a few $100.
We did. We got up to $250.
Okay, a lot of coin.
And so somebody conveniently broke their foot. And we were very nice and let them out of the...
that was very sweet of you guys.
Yeah,
I can't lose weight with it was a busted knee.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I remember exactly how I did it too. I was drunk and breakdancing, and I did the splits, and then I fell backwards like this, and I tried to just come up, just using the core power that I have, and it was on video, and you see my knee go skit skit. and just tore my ACL.
And that was it. So that's where Blake Anderson learned his crazy stuff about jumping off roofs.
I was
and stuff
teaching him how to tear ligaments in that moment.
You guys are really a wreck.
Yeah, we
you
really
know,
are.
It should have been Wreckaholics. Maybe not Workaholics, but we all ended up canceling the whole thing because none of us lost the.
I ended up gaining 10 pounds, I think.
Well, I ended up, I think, even, and I think the other guys, the only one that lost weight was Jay Chase.
Yeah.
And that was it. But 2 days before the whole thing was about to expire, I said to everybody, look, we haven't weighed ourselves. Do you guys want to all call it off? Because I don't think anybody's lost it, but everybody has to agree. And they all said, yeah, let's call it off and just give us our money back, which we did. And
I mean, hilarious that we couldn't stick to a.
Such bullshit.
Yeah, it's also like it's like $50. Like
Right.
somebody should have won that money.
well, actually, Jay did end up losing 10 pounds. And so,
Yeah.
you know, we just dropped
He
it.
should have. We
should
should have
won-
given him that money.
No, he shouldn't have. He stopped.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we
Well, he
should've.
shouldn't have agreed. Is what I'm trying to say.
No, I know. But he's very amenable, as
Yeah.
were
he's a
we,
nice
to let
guy.
you off the hook.
Yeah, you guys are so sweet.
Yeah. What brought you to the Improv first? How did you get the job here?
I like it, Eddie. Sticking with this improv theme, I like it. I was like when I was a kid, I would read books about the improv and about stand-up comedy in general, and a lot of Andy Kaufman stuff. I was really into him, and this was his favorite club in L.A. And also I watched all the Evening at the Improvs. Like that was like my favorite show. Me and my dad would just binge watch them, and I was like, when I moved to LA, I got to work there, and I came in and I bothered Rita like every day for a month. I came in every day for a month, and till finally she was like, "Fine, we'll give you a job." And I remember exactly, we were sitting up there back when this, you know, we had some steps to get up, and there was a platform there in the dining room area, and I sat and ate. It was like the chicken Alfredo dish we used to have.
Yep.
And I remember eating that, and she gave me a job working the door and answering phones during the day, and it was like the best gig I could have gotten. I feel like when people ask me what my first like break was, I feel like working here was like my first break. And I tell like the servers and stuff all the time that if anyone asks me, like, I'm like, this is your first break. Like just being here and being around this and seeing like the amount of talent that's on that stage on any given night is like. It's like you're going to school, you're going to college.
Do you think Rita lived to rue the day that she hired you?
I don't think
Because
so,
of,
but I think I owe her a Corvette. She like I think I told her that like a solid 15 years ago, and she's like,
Peeps, if you ever make it, you gotta buy me a Corvette.
Yeah. Well.
and now I'm
hey,
getting to that point that I'm like, I might have to get her a Corvette one of these days.
well, she would have
She would have
deserved it,
yeah.
especially after what you did.
Yeah.
The little fire incident on
Oh yeah.
April 1st, I think it
Yeah.
was. It was like April Fool's Day, and I'll let you tell the story.
I had just started working here in like November or December, I think, of that previous year. And then so I've only been working here a handful of months, and I called in and I called Rita and said, Rita, where do you keep the fire extinguisher? And she's like, what? And I'm like, where is it? And she's like,
Peeps, what are you talking about?
and I'm like, it's spreading, I gotta go. And then I hung up the phone, and then I'm sitting there laughing. Eddie's over here stocking the shelves of the liquor shelves,
telling him he shouldn't have done that.
and he goes, ooh, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm like still new enough where I'm like, am I gonna get in trouble? And he's like, you could. And I'm like, oh no. And then I see Matt Cohen comes running across here, and he used to be the old booker of the Improv. Now I think he's at
Tempe.
yes. Is he in Tempe, or is he stand up live? Yeah. And I see him running across here, and he's kind of a short guy, and he has this giant fire extinguisher. But I just see a fire extinguisher come into frame, and he comes in holding it. He's like, "Where's it at? Where's it at? And I'm like, it's April Fool's, man. I'm so sorry. I'm
mean-
so sorry about this. This
And-
really backfired on me. Don't fire me.
And don't forget, Rita came down. She came down from her house in her pajamas. It was like she was home having a relaxing night, and you sure messed that up.
I'm still waiting for her to.
Get
Rita is the manager of the Improv, and she was back then as well. And she, and like it means a lot to me that she like brought me into the fold and like made me part of the Improv family. And then I just spiked that in her face with this fire bit, and she was like,
Oh, Peeps, I'm gonna ruin you. Oh, I'm gonna get you back, Peeps. You have no idea.
She really gave you your first spot here.
"Yeah, she did.
know?
Yeah, she was the first one. I would start to do, I was doing like the open mics and all that stuff, and then I was doing pretty well in them, and I remember she was like, I'm gonna give you a spot, and then she started to give me like Tuesday spots, Wednesday spots, Thursday spot, and I remember one of the first times she gave me a Saturday night spot. It was a cool show. It was like Galifianakis, Sarah Silverman, and so it was like
Very cool.
very cool. And my parents were in town, and they're visiting, and I have a Saturday night spot at the Improv, and especially to my dad, that means a lot because we grew up watching. Well,
An
I grew
evening
up.
at the
He was an
Improv.
adult man, but I grew up watching the evening at the Improv, and so it was like a big deal for me. And I remember Bud comes in, and I'm like, hey, Bud, how's it going? Nice to see you. And he's like, Andy, good to see you. Not my name, by the way, but he never bothered to learn it. And he's like, Andy, I see you have a spot. Congratulations. And
I've said this before. Don't worry about it. It took him 2 years of me working here
Yeah.
before he realized my name was Eddie. So
oh, for sure. And although, by the way, like Andy, people to this day still call me Andy. I just have an Andy-looking face, I think. I think I'm an Andy. But
it's a good thing you didn't listen to everybody's advice, though. And,
Oh, yeah.
it's the guy that told you to stop screaming.
oh, Eddie saw me in like an open mic or something, and I come back out to the bar area, and he's like, I caught your set. I'm like, oh yeah, what'd you think? And he's like, I think you should scream less.
It's a good thing he didn't listen to me.
No, that's my whole thing. Scream comedy.
You wouldn't be sitting here. After
Well, wait, my Bud story. We're getting off topic here.
the Bud story.
Yeah, the Bud, and then Bud goes.
Oh, you didn't finish it.
Yeah, Bud goes, Adam, or Andy. So those are your parents? I'm like, yeah, those are my parents. And he goes, fine, I'll take a photo. And I'm like, okay. And then so I'm waving my parents over. I was like, why are we taking a photo? And then he puts the monocle in, and
Did your parents know who he was?
my dad sort of did, and then my mom had no idea. And then he puts a monocle,
Monocle.
puts a monocle in, and somewhere we have like a really funny photo of my family and Bud with his monocle in.
And most of those pictures are funny with that monocle. What other memories you got of when you were working here? Like anything? Well, who are your idols here that performed here? Maybe before you started performing.
Well, when I started, it was like Dane was still super hot back then, and it was really like Daniel Tosh and Swartzen were like the guys that I'm like, those are the type of. That's the type of comedy I want to do, like silly and fun, and it looks like they're having a good time. Especially Swartzen. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
he seems
silly
like
and
he's,
fun,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like he's having a blast, and you feel like you know that guy on stage. You know what he's like off stage, and
Right.
I knew I wasn't going to be one of the comics that like puts on a whole persona and goes up there, or like I wanted it to feel like I'm
It's you.
like like we're at a party and it just so happens that I have a microphone.
Well, you haven't. Yeah, as having been there and watched you from answering phones to being on the microphone, it's like you haven't changed, in my opinion, at all. I mean, you've been the same person. You can't say that about everybody, and I'm not saying that's a good person, but you haven't changed at all.
Yeah, Eddie.
It's like you haven't missed a beat. Everybody always says how friendly you are and how nice and everything. So that's like something I think you should be proud of, because
Thanks,
so many
Eddie.
people do change.
Yeah, that's sweet of you.
Where when you left here, did you already have a job in terms of writing or creating?
No, when I left here, I had done the Montreal Comedy Festival in 2006, and I had only been doing comedy since I started here at the end of 2004. So I really had only been doing comedy like a year and a half. So I didn't really have a ton of material. Like, I had 20 minutes that I'm proud of and 10 minutes that were garbage. And
Filler material.
yeah, totally. And so I couldn't really go on the road with anyone, and I wasn't able to headline quite yet. And the New Faces, it's a big deal. Like, it's the Montreal Comedy Festival, New Faces. They invite 20 comics from around the world. They call them the New Faces of Comedy. And then the industry goes to the comedy festival and watches them and goes like, oh, okay, him and him. And
How did you get up there to the...
I had my first audition here, and there were 6 people in the room, and it was like the first audition for the festival. And I remember I started to do my material, but it's weird to do truly crafted material for 6 people. It just feels like it should be more intimate.
Empty.
Yeah, and so then I started improvising about how well I thought this set was going to go and what I imagined was going to happen, and somehow that got me a callback. And then I did the callback at another club, and this is actually kind of a funny story. I was like so in my head about what I wanted to do that I wanted to go on stage instead of saying the name of the club. It was the Comedy Union down on Pico, where the callback was. And instead of saying, how we doing, Comedy Union, or people, or whatever, I said, how we doing? I wanted to say, how we doing, comedy crowd? What? Why did I want to do that? Why was that my funny opener? But that I was like, we'll keep it general.
Right.
And then I'll get in my material. And then I grab the mic full of bravado. I go, how we doing, Comedy Cloud? I said Comedy Cloud in front of all the
people judging
all
you.
the callback. So all the judges are in the back. I said Comedy Cloud. I spacked the microphone down on the ground, and I walked out, and I go, Comedy Cloud. I said Comedy Cloud. And I walk out, and I go, you get one shot in this industry. And I'm like just really committing to saying Comedy Cloud. One shot and I blew it. Comedy Cloud. And then I walk out front, and I'm standing there. I loved Andy Kaufman, so this is kind of a Kaufman-esque bit, and wasn't a planned bit. It was just like in the moment, I said Comedy Cloud, and I'm like, well, I got to ride this one out. And was standing out front, and I'm standing there going like, what the fuck do I do? And the big bouncer there was like, aren't you supposed to be on stage, man? And I'm like,
not anymore.
I was. And he goes, I think you should get back in there. And I'm like, I think you're right. And I turned and I walked back in, and the MC was just grabbing the microphone, like saying, I don't know. And then I come back in, and I'm like, hey, just bring me back up. And he goes, Adam Devine, everybody. And then I grab the microphone, and I go, how we doing, comedy crowd? And it was like, afterwards, they were like, oh, brilliant. Oh, my God. Such a good bit. So funny. We didn't know where you were going with it. And then I got the Montreal Comedy Festival.
And you said you didn't know where you were going with it either.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was like, well, yes, that's one of the many well-crafted improv-esque bits that I have ready to go. And then so from there, I couldn't... I came back and was working here for another 6 months or so. And I remember an executive at NBC came in and was like, didn't I just see you in Montreal? Weren't you on the New Faces show? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I really loved you. And I'm like, thanks, man. And he goes, and you work here? And I go, yeah. And he goes, you have to quit. And I'm like, what? And he goes, you can't be seen working here after doing Montreal. He goes, go get a job at a Best Buy in the Valley. Like, go work. Like, I understand you got to make money, but like, you can't work at the epicenter of comedy if they want to take you seriously up there on stage. So I went upstairs and I talked with Rita, and I was like, I think I have to put in my 2 weeks. Like, this guy just said this to me, and she goes,
I was waiting for you to see that, peeps. I'm going to miss you. That's the right call.
and she totally understood.
That's the same thing with Kevin. Nealon. I
Yeah.
mean, when I took his job, the reason he left was he was just starting to get spots and doing well, and got a little bit tired of being introduced by Bud as, and now here's my bartender.
Bartender,
You
yeah.
know, it's like not a comedian, but a bartender.
I mean, I love my time here. It was so awesome. I say it like it was a prison sentence. My time at the Prov.
And you're still doing time.
Yeah. I remember I bought our old manager Clark's, his Mazda 929. His
Oh, wow.
his shitty car that he sold, probably made me pay too much for it. And
Knowing Clark, I'm sure.
So I bought that and would always keep like a change of clothes in case Rita wanted me to
Go
jump.
up.
And that happened like quite a bit. Like people are always running 5-10 minutes late, and because they're doing other sets across town or whatever, or they're alcoholics. We don't know why they're late, but
Or both.
yeah. But that would happen quite a bit where Rita would be like, Sarah Silverman's running 10 minutes late. Can you go up and fill time? And I'd sprint to the parking lot, put my clothes back on, sprint in here, be all out of breath, and then scream into a microphone for 10 minutes.
But just so you know, that doesn't happen very often, in the sense that if somebody's late or whatever, that they will ask an employee,
Sure.
you know, to go on up.
I know, and
But
that's why I
she-
thank Rita so much, and I think she has so much to do, especially in like in those early days when I just wanted the confidence. That's all you need is like,
Yeah.
well, you got to be funny, obviously, but you're like having that confidence and having someone in that is supposed to know what's going on, having them like co-sign you, I feel like helps a lot, and that's why I did like House Party, because I thought like what a cool way for like me to co-sign all these people that I think are super funny and give them their first TV spots.
Well, you know better than I.
So yeah, I'm a pretty great guy.
Not true. You know better than I, but along the lines of what you're saying is, like, you know, stage presence is such an important thing. I mean, you can get away with not being funny if you have this wonderful stage presence
For a little bit.
Yeah, well, and the audience is just, loves you just because you're, Adam Devine or Andy Devine or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you go up there and you say hi or whatever it is you say, and they fall in love with you. You've got it made.
Yeah, I feel
and
like-
hopefully you have a joke or two.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely was, early on was I had more bravado than I had material. So and that was able to carry me a little ways until I
Hit the big time.
until I was like, oh, I gotta write jokes now. They're giving me too much time. They're giving me too good of spots. I don't want to blow this.
How did you get to Workaholics? Where did that come from in terms of you and the other guys?
We so it was after I had quit the Improv, and I had like a couple year period there where like it was like pretty hard at first, honestly. And I remember at that first like year, I still had a key to the Improv. They like never asked for the key back. So I would come here during the day when Jesus was cleaning up and just say, I think he thought I still worked here. Because he'd be like, hey, and I'm like, hello. And I would come in and just like, I mean, I hope I'm not going to get in trouble. Whatever. Bill me. I would like make myself like some fettuccine Alfredo with chicken on it and stuff. I would make myself like a little cheeseburger for lunch because I was so poor. I could not afford to. And I didn't want to get a job at the Best Buy in the Valley. I loved that I worked here and and I was thinking about comedy all the time. To then go and work someplace else that wasn't comedy related just didn't feel right. So I started to do commercial auditions, and I that kind of clicked right away. Like I booked like 3 national commercials like pretty much right away, and that sort of flowed me for the next like year and a half.
Great.
Back when like those commercials, when you actually used to make kind of a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, back to the other question that you're not answering. How did you guys get to Workaholics?
Eddie, I'm getting there.
Oh.
And so I lived with all the guys from Workaholics. We went to college together, me, Blake, and
Orange County, Orange Community. Where'd
yeah,
you go?
Orange Coast Community College in Costa Mesa. And I'm from Omaha, but my family were like, they were convinced I was like just gonna get raped if I moved directly to Hollywood. And so they're like, you have to go to a community college in Orange County. So I went there, and the first day of improv class, I met Blake and Kyle Newacek, who directed most of Workaholics, and Blake Anderson, the one with the hair. And we clicked. It was like, they were like, I could tell that they were taking it seriously. When like, it's community college, it's improv class, people are just there to like goof off, you know? And
For credits.
yeah. And we like all like really were hungry to get good. And Blake and I started to write together, and then Kyle moved up to LA to go to film school. And about 2 years later, after we first met, I moved up, and that's when I started studying at Second City, which used to be connected to the Improv. And I then came in here every day as I was taking classes next door, and got a job here. And then I met Anders, who plays Durs on Workaholics. I met him in Second City improv class, and that was like right when YouTube was just starting to become
Take
a thing.
off. Mhm.
Yeah. And we were like, we can make videos, and not, because at that point we were making videos but sending individual links to people, and then it takes like 20 minutes for it to like and so the fact that we could like send a YouTube link and it'll pop up and play immediately was like and so we were primed to like just make a ton of videos, and we made something like 70 videos in 2 years.
Wow.
And between like the middle of 2006 to the middle of 2008, we were making videos. And 2009, we got the pilot for Workaholics, a pilot presentation. They gave us $50,000 to make a presentation. They only wanted it like half of like 11 minutes, like half of a episode of TV. But we were like, well, we've proven that we can make sketches, and why not just shoot a whole thing? Because for us, $50,000 was like, you might as well have given us $5 million. Like, we were like, what? We all quit. Like, those guys all quit their jobs. Like, I was already
on the way out.
Yeah,
here,
I was already like out of here. So I was so excited. We all quit our jobs and just worked on that all summer, worked on the pilot. And that worked. 2010, we wrote all the episodes, shot the first season. Then they held on to it until April 2011.
I remember, yeah. You told me they were all in the can and just
I know.
waiting for
It was
release.
like a weird year and a half period where I had my own TV show, and I'd come in here like, I got my own show. And everyone's like, I know you don't. It's not on the air. I've never seen it.
Did you, the three of you guys, did you have a sketch group before that?
It was called, we were called Mail Order Comedy, and that's also our production name now. I think we changed it to Mail Order Company. But it was a bad name. It was like, we still don't like the name. It was, we came up with Mail Order Comedy when we were doing like YouTube stuff. I don't even know why. And it's piece of mail, not like mail. It's not like we're running a mail order, which would be very bad in today's climate. It's the mail order. You know, you've seen Handmaid's Tale. And so no, it's piece of mail. And we immediately regretted the name. We're like, this is a stupid name. We could have came up with a better name. But then we had like 200 YouTube followers, and we were like,
wow.
Well, we've got fans already, so we can't change it up on them.
Were you guys also a musical group? Did you do some?
We did like some stuff. We did. We used to do. Do you remember Jay Leggett?
Sure.
Yeah,
of
Jay.
course.
Jay would always come in here, and Jay was like a Second City
teacher,
and alum, and was on the main stage in Chicago, and he was the man. And he was me and Honor's teacher at Second City. And he passed away a few years back, R.I.P. to him. And he sort of started a like sketch like super group where he was like, it was called Comedy Cocktail, and we did it at the Hollywood and Highlands nightclub. And it was like this nightclub in Hollywood that like once a month all the best sketch groups from L.A. picked by Jay would come and perform their best sketches. And so we then, that was like a monthly thing that we had to like write towards. And then he also was like, we want to show some of your videos. So then that really got us like going like, okay, every month we need at least one or two new stage sketches and then at least 2 video sketches. So it got us working a lot harder than I think maybe we would have left to our own devices.
At any point, did you ever think while you were doing Workaholics, like, I can't believe I'm here, that this is happening? It's like
I still am like that.
Yeah.
Like I just went and pitched a movie like to studio heads, just right before I came here, and while I'm on the studio a lot, just like, like I can't believe like I get to go do this now. Like this is, but
Yeah.
it is a thing of like, I always when I was a kid, I was watching Evening at the Improv and like watching movies and shows. I was always like, some people seemed that great, but most people seem mediocre. Some, some people, like not everyone's Jim Carrey. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I don't have to be Jim Carrey, but if I fall right in that pocket, I feel like I could be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like you don't be scared to follow your dreams, thinking you'll never be Lady Gaga or whatever you want to do.
Right. There's plenty of room at the top.
There's plenty of room.
It's
And
something.
you can find your place and just be true to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think
I
that's.
should write a book.
Yeah, you think so? Be true to yourself. I love it. It's never.
Oh man,
I
should
hit
just
on
print
an
that
idea.
and immediately take it to Target. And I'm like, I found another thing that you can like the dumb art that they have that's just
Yeah,
you hang it
yeah.
on your wall. Be true to yourself.
Yeah. It's.
I feel like that's my girlfriend's friend's Instagram posts.
Oh,
She
be
has
true
one.
to-
Chloe has one friend that is constantly posting just it's just like her getting like half out of the water, and then it'll say like be true to yourself, and you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like go swimming every once in a while?
Changing up for a little bit, just for a quick second. There was a very good chance you wouldn't be sitting here right now. You had this horrific accident when you were a kid. You got smacked by a cement truck.
True. Karan, are you laughing over there? What's going on, man? We talk about when I was almost murdered, and Karan was like,
Yeah.
got him. I was hit.
See you in
Yeah.
your wheelchair down there.
Yeah. See ya, guys. I was 11 years old, and I was living in Omaha. Well, my family was, and I was living with them. I'm not just this orphan
was
boy
nice.
who's like, I was living in Omaha. I took the rails there. I was 11, and my friends were across the street, and they were like, come on. And we were going to go get to this convenience store. And what we would do, because we were bad boys, is one person would like take like the blue Raz suckers up to the front and be like, how many for 6 of these or whatever, and then the other person would rip pages out of Playboys and Penthouse, which by the way, I don't know why we would just take the magazine.
Right.
Just take the magazine. Don't rip pages. It was so loud. So that person was always, who was at the counter was always like shaking chips and like trying to like keep the attention. So that was our plan, and they were across the street, and one of them yells, come on, and I took that as coast is clear, and I grew up in the suburbs, so like 3 cement trucks are going up the hill, and 2 were coming down. So, and I'm on this side of the street, so my friends are over here, they yell, come on, 3 cement trucks past me, they yell, come on, I think the coast is clear. So I walk out from behind that 3rd cement truck, not able to see the other side of the street, and got squashed under the wheels and spit out. At least that's what I think happened. I mean, I don't remember any of this. It's just what I could have just been like, cement truck, later world, you know, like I could have been
You
a
almost
suicidal
were.
11-year-old.
You
but I don't
almost
think
were.
so.
What happened? What did you break? What did you know?
I broke all the bones from my waist down besides my right femur.
Wow.
Yeah, so I shattered everything from the knees down, and then my left femur was broken. And then I broke a few ribs and punctured a lung. But weirdly,
That's all?
they say no brain damage.
Yeah, they probably didn't know you before
Yeah.
or should meet you
They're
now.
like, we don't know. His personality could change. But, yeah, so I couldn't walk for like 2 years. It was like my parents did a good job of like shielding me from a lot of the news. Because at first the doctors were like, we don't think he's going to be able to walk again.
Wow.
We're going to probably have to take these legs. We're going to.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it was he's gonna need a fake right foot because that my heel I guess was just like hanging off, and then it was okay. We're gonna be able to reapply the heel, but he'll walk with like a crazy limp. Like one leg's gonna be like 3 inches shorter, and
they didn't know Adam
and
Devine.
then I still one leg is like about a half inch shorter. That's why I got that cool that cool swagger that I have now.
I just thought you were arrogant, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I made it. I turned it into my bravado.
There you go. And how long were you laid up? 2 years, like solid in bed?
Yeah, well, it was like 2 years of like a year straight of like can't walk fully in a wheelchair, and then it would be like I am learning how to walk again and get up to like a walker level, and then I would need another surgery, and then I'd be back in a wheelchair for a few months, and then back up to a walker, another surgery. I ended up having 26 surgeries in like 2.5 years.
Wow, Jesus.
So
That's
it was
even
like
more than me.
Yeah, it was a lot, and I think that is why like I don't know if my parents would have. I'm actually like thankful that I got hit by the cement truck. I bet I'll be like 70 years old and not as thankful
Right.
when my legs can't work at
Yeah.
all. But
Well, everything.
but right now I'm
works.
like it's awesome because my parents. I'm from the Midwest. We don't know anyone in Hollywood. Like this is like foreign to my family, and we didn't even know anyone that's ever like lived in California. So for me to after high school to just up and move out here, I don't think in a million years they would have been so gung ho on that if
That hadn't happened?
hadn't almost died. Like I almost died, so they were like, "Yeah, you're not dead. Go follow your dreams."
Did now, getting back to your career, you have a show coming out, The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
And what is that all about?
It's me and Danny McBride and John Goodman and Edie Patterson. We play a family of evangelicals, and so we run a.
Oh God, is that right?
Yeah, we run like a Christian megachurch, and we're prosperity preachers. So we believe that like God wants us to have like private jets and wear expensive clothes. Like it's basically also like people are like, "Oh, isn't that awful?" I'm like, I don't know. If I was a preacher, I might be a prosperity preacher too. Like that seems like the best one, doesn't it? Like if you're
Okay.
like I don't want to be a preacher. That seems like a bad job to me. That seems shitty. I don't want to do that. But if I were to do that, I think I would trick my brain into thinking like, yeah, if God wants me to have all these jewels, but so that's our family, and we're a little corrupt, but we still all like have beliefs. So it's like a real push and pull of doing
I
these
take
kind of
it it's a
dastardly.
comedy.
Yeah, it's like a dark comedy. It's really cool. It's funny. It's like, and what's weird is like I'm like more grounded than I have been in a lot of stuff. Like Adam Devine in Workaholics, I was like a total maniac. And
But that was typecasting. So
yeah,
that was
I wrote it myself, so I wrote that for me. I put that upon myself. And then Pitch Perfect, I was also pretty broad. And this, like, I'm like kind of the voice of reason in the family, so it's kind of fun. It's a different thing for me to do.
That's a little hard to take, but
Yeah,
you know,
me as a real person, Eddie, you can't
yeah,
believe.
I know. I guess that's poetic license. But something else I want to ask you about that I just read about that's like I was really kind of excited about is that you're doing an animated series called The Freaky Furry. What is
Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
it? Yeah. What is
Yeah.
that all about?
It was actually a cartoon in the late '60s. Gilbert Shelton wrote it, and not a cartoon, a comic book, and it's about these group of friends who live in San Francisco, and they're just total stoners and the hijinks that they get into. And it was like this cool, weird cult comic that Blake kind of showed me, and he's like, we could do this comic. This is cool. No one's doing this. And then weirdly, within the same 2-month span that he gave me the comics to read and to think about developing, they came to us with the property.
Oh, wow.
And the people,
Coincidence,
yeah,
huh?
and they're like, we think you guys would be perfect to do this, and we're like, absolutely, and we teamed up with Alan Cohen and Alan Friedland, and they were executive producers on King of the Hill and American Dad, and we're writing the show right now, and we're gonna.
I take it you guys are voicing the characters. And,
Yeah,
and
we'll
all
voice
that.
a few of the characters and executive produce it and write it and everything.
And the hits just keep coming. I love it.
Hits keep coming.
The,
Well, you never know when
when they don't.
when they don't. So I'm like, I might as well have 15 things in the fire in case 14 things don't work out.
That's show business. You
That's
know?
show business, baby.
Are there things that you want to do yet that you see yourself doing down the line, or like you have an extra goal that you
I want to work
accomplish?
behind this bar, Eddie.
Well, no.
I'm trying to wait your ass out.
A lot of people are. It's like they're waiting. You get customers that come in.
now.
They go, "Oh shit, are you still here?" I go,
Jesus.
yeah, I am. I'm still standing.
Do you remember why they call me Crash? Do you remember why Rita?
Oh, I don't, but I remember that now.
When I first moved here, I got in 3 car crashes in my first month of working at the Improv, and one of them was when I pulled into this tiny lot next door, and I tried to park, and I scraped the shit out of Matt Coman's brand new Audi.
Oh, God.
And I remember I came over here, and Matt, we said earlier, was the booker of the Improvs, and he's the guy that if you're a young comic, you absolutely want him to love you. Like, he's the guy. He's the one that you
Great
want
start.
to just love you, so you get booked here. And I had to call him, and I go, "Hey, Matt, is that your Audi next door?" And he's like, "Yeah, you like that? Brand new, baby." And I'm like, I think I just ran into it. He's like, "Bullshit." And I think it was before the fire incident, but he was like, "Bullshit, you're lying." I'm like, "Meet me in the parking lot." And so we went down there, and I'm still a child. I'm 20 years old, so I'm still like a child. I don't know what I'm doing with insurance and that sort of. So I have him call my mom, and he talks with Penny. He talks with sweet Penny Devine, and they get it fully figured out.
Oh, yeah, both your parents I've met. They're great people.
Yeah.
And your sister, I think, is coming back down, huh?
Yeah, she's moving back down. Uh-huh.
It's some of the things that I've noticed about you guys, all three of you and Blake and Anders, is that you guys have made yourself so available to people. When you're in here, when I worked on that one episode of Workaholics, I noticed that you guys, this was in a park, I think in Balboa, out in the valley. You guys literally stopped shooting when some fans would come over to take pictures.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, it's unheard of. People don't do that. And I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
wasn't
such a
good
big-
for production.
Doesn't matter.
It was unheard of because it cost us, the production, a lot of money.
Doesn't matter.
But-
It's so good for your fan base, and people know that you're available to them.
Yeah, even beyond, like, I don't think it was like a master plan of us
No,
being like
no, I'm
building
sure
the
it wasn't.
brand, but like, I know I think it helped, like, we all moved out here so young and we're so enamored by the whole thing, because this is it's a fun business. Even though it is a business, it's still fun. You still get to meet like Eddie Murphy might walk in here, and you're like,
Right.
Eddie Murphy, or like Chappelle was in here quite a bit, and you just see him, and these guys that like I've grown up like loving and like worshiping, basically. You meet them and you hope to God that they're nice guys.
Yeah, I didn't mean that it was a master plan. I just meant that it was like such an ingratiating thing just to do, even if it's like just off the cuff. It's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
hang on a second, guys, we'll shoot in a second.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just took some pictures with some people that I guarantee you made their day, their week,
Yeah.
their month, their year. And because I remember watching
Which
them.
is the Friends theme song. day of the week.
Is that right?
Or even your year.
Oh, sing for us, Adam. No, never mind. It's just a good thing to do.
No, thanks, Eddie. Yeah, no, I like meeting people.
Yeah.
For the most part. I think the three of us, for the most part, have like personalities where, yeah, I mean, you know, comics that are like want to crawl in their shell after they're off stage.
I do.
And it's just different personalities. Like I'm not like that, so.
No, that's good. But well, you're not like that at all. It's like, I'm here. Here I am. I'm Adam Devine. Oh no,
Eddie.
I'm sorry.
Eddie, don't do that.
Oh, the girl. Oh, I wasn't yelling to them. Oh, God, threw you all off, didn't I? They just happened to be walking by when I did that.
Uh-huh.
All right, this will be my last podcast, guys. I want to thank you all for listening. But it was, that kind of thing. I mean, you guys were just great. And are you guys going to continue to work together, the three of you?
We met last night. We're talking about a movie that we're going to go out and pitch together. So,
great.
Yeah.
Is that the movie about me with me playing a
yeah,
part?
it's called Eddie
father?
the Bartender.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we'll find someone good to play him.
Good
Do you
luck.
remember when I almost flooded this place?
I do. It's
It
like
was-
the bathroom.
Well, it was
The pipe
Blake actually almost flooded it, but I brought Blake around. It was when this place was under construction. What, 4 years ago, something like that? 3 or 4 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago,
4 or
this
5?
whole place was gutted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this whole place was gutted. It was under construction, and I had just gotten off stage, and Blake and a few friends have come to see me, and they were wasted. And so they're like, "Let's see the Improv." And so I'm like, we'll come back here. And these guys like kind of give me the run of the place. So I was like, "Yeah, come, look, it's all under construction, blah, blah, blah." And then Blake's like, "Are they throwing out all this stuff?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "You can't throw away this photo, dude." And it was like hanging up on the wall. And I'm like, "I don't know what they're going to do with it." He tries to climb up to get it.
Oh, I remember.
Grabs
that. I
a
was
pipe,
here, yeah.
snaps it. Water just starts shooting out. And like, so we're like trying to like stuff shirts into this pipe. And I'm going, "We're going to flood the whole thing. We're flooding the whole thing." And so I ran out. I ran and got Rita. And Rita's like, "Peeps, what'd you do?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." And to her credit, she's like, "Get out of here. You were never here." And I'm like, "I was here. I was on stage." And she's like, "Okay, all your friends need to leave. You can help me turn
Help
this
me
off."
stop the leak.
Yeah, and so luckily we did, and there wasn't any damage. But for a minute, I was like, we're going to flood this whole place.
I think people should be aware of the fact that this is not an unusual thing for you and those guys. I
Yeah,
mean,
to-
these kinds
to
of things.
almost burning this place
yeah,
down. Yeah.
For that, and like Blake jumping off a roof at one of your parties or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and breaking his back, and it's like this is just everyday occurrence.
Did you ever see? Did he ever come in here with his back brace on?
No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
he steered clear here while.
Yeah.
That was probably for the best. I'm sure people would have given him too much shit.
Sure. How you doing, Blake?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Everything good?
Yeah.
Well, he's lucky too. He seems to have fully recovered, so
Yeah,
good for him.
he's back in a big way.
You also won a couple of Teen Choice Awards.
And
Did
that's
you know?
thank you for saying that, Eddie. And that is my proudest accomplishment. I love them surfboards.
Those were, what were they for?
I don't even.
Workaholics? You don't
I think
remember?
I think one was Pitch Perfect, and I think
Oh
the other
yes,
was
for
Workaholics.
Bumper Allen. Is
Yeah,
that what
for
it? Yeah,
Bumper,
in Pitch
yeah.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Your
other
favorite
one,
films? What's your favorite film of mine, Eddie?
I haven't seen any of your stuff. I didn't even know you were an actor. Somebody just said he would be great to have on your.
You
know,
just saw
he
my
used to-
commercials?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
used to work there, and he would be. He's got a lot of interesting stories. You have a lot of time to fill because you don't know what you're saying, so maybe he'll. Get you going. But no, I don't
But it's
watch
not
any.
working. Yeah, I'm not getting you going.
No, it's. I don't know. You been in movies?
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's what it was. I made
You got
this
these-
long list.
yeah,
I got tired of
meticulous
writing
notes.
it. I'm going like Neighbors, The Intern, The Final Girls, Mike and Davey.
The Final Girls is where I met my girlfriend Chloe.
Chloe?
Yeah.
Oh.
We met on a flight going to shoot the movie, and I didn't know that she was
in
an
it?
actress or she was in the movie, and she did research and knew that I was in the movie. So she sits down next to me, and I'm like, "Hello," and I was kind of intimidated by her because Chloe's like, she's a pretty beautiful girl, but she also like has a look. She like looks like she's mean. You get that?
No,
just
not real. But I think I can see what you're saying.
Her, not just her resting face.
Right.
Like with you, I think she's smiley because she's happy to see you. But like her resting face is like. So I'm like, oh, this girl's like probably pretty mean, play it cool, and then but got talking to her and realized she was sweet and cool, and then got off the plane and some guy who was a stuntman on Terminator Salvation shooting in New Orleans at the same time, and he like hit on her, and they like exchanged numbers. So I'm like,
no,
then
that's
it took me a while to gain the courage to ask her out, but.
That's all right. The rest is history.
Here we are.
She's
and
a
then now
sweetheart.
we've been getting drunk at the end of this bar twice a month for 4 years together.
That's good. And what did she play? Was she your
She
love
played
interest,
the
or-
final girl. No, but we did die in a car crash together in the movie. It was like
Was this Thelma and Louise?
it was like a meta horror movie where these kids, Malin Ackerman's character, her mom died in I don't remember. Just watch the movie. The Final Girls. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're here to talk the improv.
I will.
Not the plot of this movie
I'll watch
that I forget.
The movie. Just write your name down so I remember who to look for.
Adam Devine. You could figure that
Adam
out, Eddie.
Devine,
I know
Andy
you're
Devine.
senile, but
Things happen, you know. It's like I said. They said Adam Devine. I said,
You're
okay,
like,
who's that?
who?
Oh, the guy that worked here.
did you say
Yeah.
Jack and Coke? That's all you know how to do is mix.
Oh God, this is what I live for. What was the other Teen Choice Award? Did I write that down?
I think it was Workaholics. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you do, Adam?
I
It's
remember just to talk about the improv more. This place was so special to me. I used to during the day I would answer phones here. So there used to be a booth right by the front door that I would sit in, and it was our box office. And I would turn the volume up on the ringer all the way up, and then go practice. Like how to take the mic out of the stand and put the mic stand places and like where to put the stool and like the lay of the and like walking around, and then the phone would ring and I'd put the microphone down and sprint out here to answer the phone. And I would do that all the time. And
But you
on several occasions I was caught by Rita or whoever and was just like, okay.
yeah, she'd go like, peeps, get out of the booth.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
She
gone,
was.
Peeps, you're practicing. Aw, cute.
And,
Look at
yeah,
you go, moving mic stands. Aw.
and the rest of that is history with her.
I do a pretty good Rita, right?
You do. You do a great Rita.
Yeah.
I thought she was
hates
sitting
the
there.
impression. I've done it in front of her. She's like,
I don't sound like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see more than a foot, so it's like I thought that was Rita for a minute. I was going to start asking her some questions, but it's not. You're doing great.
did you say
do,
Jack and Ginger?
You do.
No, I said, hey, Eddie.
You do a lot of voices on a lot of animated. You've done series, Vampira.
I did Vampira. I love that. That's the one that just looked on the IMDb. It's like 2 episodes of it. Now we're talking about that. Yeah, I've done a bunch of voice stuff.
Are you on IMDb?
I am.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
good. All
yeah. My star meter's under 1,000, so check me out.
Oh, all right.
I did Green Eggs and Ham. Yesterday I did the
that's a good
TCAs
one.
for that. It's cool. It's me and Michael Douglas and Diane Keaton.
Wow.
Are some of the cast, and then also Jillian Bell and Alana Glazer and Keegan Michael Key. It's cool.
You're traveling in some good company. I
I
like
play
that.
Sam I Am, and I'm trying to get Michael Douglas to try them Green Eggs and Ham, and it's super fun. I've been doing it for a few years now, and it's finally coming out.
Oh,
So on Netflix. So that'll come out sometime this fall.
your special just came out too
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to bring it up, Eddie.
Oh, I'm bringing it up. Here it
Okay,
is.
well, dang, you buried it 55 minutes in. No one's
Well, you
gonna.
think people aren't going to listen?
Yeah, we should have brought that up in the first 5 minutes.
Oh shit! I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
put a
okay,
little
can you
graphic
reverse
up,
This?
yeah,
just
yeah.
reverse this.
No,
the whatever
I,
they do in
Yeah,
technical
it's
terms.
called editing, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a new special on Netflix called Adam Devine's Best Time of Our Life, and
Where'd you shoot that?
we shot it in Omaha. And so it's my stand-up special. It's my first special. Like, people don't realize that I've been doing stand-up as long as I have because the acting stuff kind of took off. So I hadn't put out a special yet, and I got to do this in my hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. And I did it in, like, our big, beautiful Orpheum Theater that fits, like, 2,800 people. And we did 2 shows in one night, and it was packed. And it was, like, they gave me a day.
Oh, really? In Omaha?
The mayor of Omaha gave me
Andy
Adam
Devine Day?
Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adam Devine.
Yeah, they
That's
gave me
the-
my real name.
Adam,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adam Devine Day. That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
And that's already out on
that's
Netflix.
on Netflix right now.
Is the Righteous
Righteous Gemstones will be out
Is it on
August
Netflix or HBO?
18th on HBO.
On HBO.
And that's HBO. And then I have a movie coming out called Jexy, where me and Rose Byrne plays my phone. And it's
She
as
plays
if
your phone?
My phone. So it's
Okay.
it's as if Siri, but as if Siri turns on you and tries to ruin your life. And so it's like kind of a
Brilliant.
fun dark comedy written by the guys that wrote The Hangover and wrote and directed Bad Moms. So yeah, that's
great
gonna come
idea. I
out
like
this
that.
fall, and then Green Eggs and Ham.
I may have to see that one, the one with Siri, because Siri and I argue all the time.
Oh yeah,
It's like
she's
my-
a mean. You want to call her a bitch, but she'll remember that when the robots take over. So you have to be careful.
When my kids actually bought me my first iPhone,
Uh-huh.
and they said, we're going to give you this
You're
phone.
like, iPhone, what's this? Tequila shot?
And as I was saying, they said, but you have to promise not to yell at Siri.
Yo,
Because every time, you go on these things and you go, Siri, get me the number for Sweet Flower.
and they're
The
like,
number for Power Rangers is,
Yeah,
and
it's
I- you know,
wrong 90% of the time.
I know,
You gotta,
and
yeah.
it's just it's nothing. It's just like
my
it's
dad.
me.
I had an Xbox, and their thing that you talk to is called Cortana. Sweet name, and it was my.
I'm going to
favorite
take your
thing-
word for it because I'm not up for this. With
Yeah,
this
my
stuff.
favorite thing in my life is when my dad would come to visit, and he would try to turn the TV, and I'd be downstairs, and I'd hear him be like, "Corgana, Cornana, Cordada," and he's just screaming, trying to, and he's like, "God damn, what is the name of this goddamn machine?"
I have the same issues with Alexa.
Oh, yeah.
They set up these things in my house, and I said something. One of our friends' names is Alexa, and I talking to my wife, going like, "Is Alexa blah blah blah?" And all of a sudden, music is playing, and it's like, we don't have that station on Alexa. I'm going like, what is this? It's like this technical generation.
we're all,
it's like
we're
it's
all
hard.
fucked. Yeah, we're all screwed. We were gonna name the movie. It's called Jexy because that's the name of
The woman, the voice.
AI. But it was going to be Lexi, and we had to change it because Google was like, "We will fucking bury you."
They have Alexa.
They have Alexa,
Oh, because all right.
and so they were like, "Oh, we'll murder you, little Lionsgate movie. You're dead to us." So we changed that to I guess Jexy passed, which.
And so what's next now? You got another movie you're going to shoot in Timbuktu
I got
or
really nothing
Montana?
right now. I'm kind of excited. I'm gonna start to
Chill out?
Like, I did my special and I haven't gotten back on stage. This is the longest I've ever not been on stage. But I've been shooting. I've been gone for like the last 6 months. So like it was the holidays and I've been gone for 6 months, and then I'm like being so lazy, but I'm gonna wait until summer's over. And then I'm going to get back in the clubs a lot this fall, I think.
Well, I know a few people. I could probably get you a spot here at
I
least,
hope they
a little bit.
Carve me out 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
honestly,
even open mic,
That's honestly like, I've never gone from having an hour plus of material to going back down to zero and building
starting
back
over.
up. So like, it's a little nerve-wracking, but I'm kind of excited to do it this fall. And my Clippers, I am a season ticket Clipper owner, so
Well, call me anytime. We'll go.
yeah. Well, you're busy back here, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah. It's
So I'm going to be going to a lot of Clipper games, and then hopefully season 2 of Righteous Gemstones will start back up at the top of next year. So
have you already finished shooting that first season?
we're done with season 1. Comes out in August, and then I've been told we'll find out soon after it premieres if we'll get another season.
Oh, they released the entire season at one time, right?
No, HBO.
Oh, they're not doing. This is HBO,
yeah.
right? Netflix is the one that does that. Mm-hmm. That's it, because it gets hard for me to remember who's who and what's what and all that sort of thing.
Eddie.
It's like and
HBO. Here's your Coors Light.
HBO. Do you have something on HBO?
Oh, he's good.
Anyway, Adam, thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot,
I
Eddie.
really appreciate it.
I
This
love
is
it.
a
I
lot
love
of
the
fun.
improv, and I love talking to you, buddy.
It's a pleasure. You know, you're one of my favorite people. I've watched you from the time you were screaming till the time you're screaming now. So it's like it's just gone in a full circle, and I love it.
Do you think I'm aging?
Not at all, actually. You look
Shut up.
exactly
that was
the
a
same.
softball. What a sweetheart.
Yeah,
Dang.
no, you do. It's like
We're
it kinda
ending on a
pisses-
high note.
It pisses me off because I'm aging. It's like
all-
I'm only 43 years old, and look at
Oh,
me.
Jesus.
This is what
Eddie.
I've been through back then.
Eddie.
This is just, it's like, hey,
It's finally wearing down on you, huh? The grind.
it has. That's why I'm sitting. I don't ever sit. But thanks again, Adam. I want to thank again Mike Carano and Lindsay Rose, and turn this podcast on, people, because this is what it's all about. A lot of fun,
Swipe
a lot
up,
of people.
guys, or click, or
Andy Devine.
click
Oh,
on this-
Adam Devine.
Click on this link right here, and
That's it.
smash the like button.
All righty. Oh, thank you.